going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is my review for The Walking Dead episode 22. Had to remember what episode it was. From season 10, this is the final episode of the season, right before we get to season 11. And so this was the one I've been waiting for, and honestly, it did not disappoint. I really did like this episode. So the episode is called Here's Negan, and I thought it was really well done, and probably the only one of the bunch that was really well done. So this is pretty much a flashback episode. It gives you some backstory on Negan and Lucille. At the beginning of the episode, we're present day. We see Maggie walking with her son, and not really anything of interest there. Then you cut to Carol coming up to Negan and saying that the council had voted him out. They want him gone. And Negan already knew that it was actually just Carol saying that. So then we get the flashback where Negan is captured. You get almost right away a flashback within a flashback where Negan tries to rob a medic unit for supplies. This is at a point where Lucille, his actual wife, has got cancer and he needs these supplies to keep her healthy. Through his conversations with his wife, we find out that he used to be a high school gym teacher. They're having a conversation, Negan's reading to her, so you kind of get that dynamic. It's our first look at the lady Lucille. So we get kind of like a backstory. Now we do get a little nugget here that Negan was let go from being a teacher for something that used some physical force. And so we see that there's seeds there, but nothing really yet. Which is really interesting because the next episode, we see a little bit of a weaker Negan. He hasn't had to deal with the saviors yet. He hasn't built up a crew. He hasn't dealt with zombies yet. This is before all of that happens. And so this is very early on after the zombie showed up, and he's fighting a zombie and he's pretty weak. And it turns out that Lucille's actually the one that shoots the zombie and saves his ass. And then you get another flashback within a flashback where it's Lucille giving him his leather jacket. She said she had a gift for him, and it turns out to be this jacket, which he absolutely adored. But then problems strike because they're in this house that is run by a generator. The generator dies, and all of the medicine that was in their freezer that was for Lucille gets ruined. And so now Negan's freaking out, and Lucille's just kind of at a moment of acceptance with this, which of course Negan doesn't want. Then you get another flashback scene where you see Negan playing video games, and Lucille's bitching him out because he got arrested on a misdemeanor assault charge, and he's not doing anything. He's not out trying to look for work. He's just playing games and riding it out. She was equally upset that he had bought a $600 jacket, which turned out to be the jacket that she gave him later. And then they flash forward from Negan playing video games a little bit to them finding out that Lucille has cancer. And obviously the reaction on both of them was fairly strong. So this is where Negan gets this idea of robbing this medic clinic, and he gets cracked upside the head with a bat by one of the medics. So the medics talk to him when he comes to, and he tries to explain to them what happened. The medics give him some medicine, and they actually give him the bat that he got hit with. So now we flash forward back to when Negan is held captive, and the captors let him go. Apparently he didn't have enough for them, or didn't have anything that they wanted. He was no use, and they were trying to get information. If I remember correctly, they were trying to get information on the medic clinic that Negan tried to rob. And so I think at that point they got the information they needed. They released Negan. Then Negan goes and grabs the baseball bat. So Negan goes home, and he finds out that his wife had swallowed a bunch of pills and killed herself. That really fucked Negan up, of course. And so he grabs the baseball bat, and this is when he creates Lucille number 2, wraps the bat in barbed wire, and now he's out for those guys that had him captured and cost him all of this time and cost him this medicine. And so now he's out for vengeance. So Negan torches his house, sets it on fire, lets it all ablaze with Lucille inside, and then he goes and he saves the medics from the guys who had him captured, who were going there to rob them. And there was a really great scene at the end there where Negan has this little conversation, and he says, first time you told me not to talk so much or whatever when they had him captured. And now he says, you better hope I never stop talking, because when I do, something really bad's going to happen. And it's just such a really Negan line. And of course, at the end, Negan smacks him with the bat. And then you come back to present day. You have older, leaner Negan. He apologizes to Lucille number 1 for who he'd become and what he'd done. And he sets fire to Lucille number 2, the baseball bat, and he destroys that. And then you finish with Negan, Carol, and Maggie all passing by each other at Hilltop. And so Carol understands that Negan's not going anywhere, and he's going to face whatever he has to face, and he's going to deal with Maggie head on. And so I thought that was a very cool episode, very well acted. Of course, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, just an absolute perfect role for him. I really love him as Negan. I was really high on this episode. It's the only episode in these mid-season episodes that I am really high on. And so for that reason, I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 10, I think. Very entertaining, very cool to see the backstory, and to kind of continue on the story with Maggie and Negan now in present day. I kind of liked that they had that little tie-in there at the beginning and end. So that's where I'm at with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz. Kaged Nation, out.